Ghana's health sector is at a turning point. Access has expanded with the National Health Insurance Scheme and the spread of community health services, but the cracks continue to show. Now, think of hospitals without equipment, rural areas without doctors, and a system struggling with both a rising wave of lifestyle diseases and those we already know. Now, all of that against a backdrop of huge infrastructure gaps. In this edition of Hot Issues, we seek answers to your most pressing questions. We ask, how healthy is the health sector? I am Keminni Amanor, and in this edition, I sit down with the Health Minister. In what you're about to see, he attempts to give us a look into the sector 8 months into office. My next guest is Kwabna Minta Akando.
Over the weekends, we heard about some kind of confrontation at the Ridge Hospital. So on Monday morning, I started getting the signals from the public. So I sent a delegation to Ridge Hospital to ascertain the situation. So when the delegation came back to the ministry and they were debriefing me, the feedback was that the health professionals were insecure. They felt they were panicking. And therefore, the recommendation was that, and of course, the Ministry of Health is very close to the Ridge Hospital. Yeah. So if I can go there and give them some kind of reassurance, so I did. So when I got to the premises, I had the opportunity to visit the victims. And after that, we had a closed-door meeting to look at the issues, discuss them, and see the way forward. So some of the issues that came up were the internal security of the place, how we can also link up with the police to take care of the security of the place, the staffing issues, and what have you. So it required that I had to constitute a committee to look at the issues. So I constituted a committee of about 5 people, a medical doctor, a nurse, HR person, an auditor, and a legal person.
So let me understand this. The committee you set up was not only to investigate the incident that took place, But the general safety and security of the place.
Whatever led to that particular event.
Okay.
Do you understand now? Good. So then, after that, I pulled out of the wards and then granted an interview to the press, condemning the incident outrightly. And of course, let me use this opportunity to reiterate that irrespective of the provocation at any health facility, nobody, absolutely nobody, has the right to physically attack any health professional in this country. It's not a matter of persuasion. That must be made clear. So that's exactly what I did on camera. Then I saw a gentleman pulled out in a black saloon car. Actually, he didn't park well, so I was even telling them to tell him to park well. And then my officers, my directors around me told me, they drew my attention, that is a sad rough. Well, I'm not a social media person. I'm not so active on the social media. So then he was walking towards us. So I began asking, gentlemen, why did you do this? Then in his attempt to answer the question, he was walking towards us and stretching the arm, willing to whisper something into my ears. Can you tell me, should I push him? Should I shout him down? You see, let's face it. I'm a minister responsible for health, for all health professionals. But then, I'm also a minister responsible for health for all Ghanaians. And at the time I met them behind the scene, closed door meet, I told them that, look, this is one side of the story. And so I need to listen to the other side of the story as well. And so the gentleman whispered into my ears that, and this is what he said. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to review what he said to me. He said, Mr. Minister, I won't explain here. I will come to your office and tell you my side of the story. That's what he said to me. I said, okay. Then I tapped, then I'm going to the office, so please come. And indeed, he followed up.
Okay.
There has been this misconception why he even pulled out at the same time I was there. Later, I found out that he was actually coming to the ministry to report the incident to me. And they told him I had gone to the hospital.
And that's why he followed up.
That's why he followed up.
I see.
So my crime is, why didn't I push him when he stretched his hand to shake me? Look, and I've made this point, and I'll make it again. As a minister, it is not in my nature, okay, to be disrespectful or to be rude to any citizen in this country, irrespective of where you find yourself, even if he has been sentenced to death. Okay? But don't forget, the issue has two legs. What falls within the jurisdiction of the ministry and the criminal aspect of the issue.
I see. And so then let's take it back a few steps, right? When you talked about someone being attacked, I want to understand, for a lot of people, there hasn't been any visual evidence to the effect that someone was attacked. As at the time.
Right. So that was the allegation.
What is, as far as you're concerned, what is the nature of attack that was reported to you?
That the nurse was physically attacked, like was brutalized. He was hit left, right, center, to the extent that she had a dislocation of the shoulder.
Wow.
As at the time I went, and I visited her, and she was in a bandage. So I visited and I instructed that, he said she had lost 800 Ghana cedis and their phone, and so I instructed that she must be treated free of charge. Her 800 Ghana cedis must be given to her, and her phone must also be replaced. Okay?
Who did she say attacked her?
Well, at the time, because I was not ready to go to the merits and the demerits of the matter, I didn't ask those follow-ups. I thought that would come up at the committee level.
Committee level.
You understand? So, in fact, my presence there was to reassure them, for them to continue to work. And not because the signals I was speaking was that they were considering other options. So just to go there and then encourage them. And indeed, I must be very honest, they were exceedingly happy when I got there. Especially the medical superintendent and the senior officers, they were exceedingly happy that the minister himself could walk there at that point in time.
Because of the incident.
Because of the incidents. So they were exceedingly happy. Okay, but Keminni, let me make this point. In my ministry, I have more than 80 unions. Unions are good. They help us to run the sector. In as much as any union leader will demonstrate to his or her union members that indeed he's working, it is also important to note that It is a responsibility of union members to collaborate with government to find solutions of the problems to the union members. The union leaders may not have solutions to the problems of the union members. So it is always government. Government is always at the center of the issue. So it is a matter of collaboration. It's not a matter of opposition. There are clear differences.
Right. I agree. Now, let's deal with the criminal matter, because I recall that you said some arrests.
I don't have the capacity to deal with the
criminal matter.
No, I understand,
but I recall you mentioned that some arrests had been
Yes,
arrests has been made. Who has been arrested in this case?
Well, I don't know. I can't mention names.
Okay.
But I'm informed. I get briefing almost every day. I'm informed that some arrests have been made, and then the committee is also still sitting. I've given them 1 week to make their findings and reports.
The reason I ask who has been arrested is because the gentleman who is said to be at the center of this issue, we know is a free man. And we are unclear also at this time who physically attacked the said nurse. And so it's only fair for the Ghanaian people to understand when Minister says some arrests have been made, who has been arrested, how many people have been arrested?
Well, my briefings indicates that some arrests have been made. I mean, statements have been taken.
Right.
Medical forms have been issued, and the processes are ongoing. But as to the details, I'm unable to give details.
You will not have at that time.
And
so your committee, what work have they done so far?
Oh, they are sitting throughout. They have only 1 week, so they are still sitting, and I'm very sure that they will hit to the deadline.
Again, I want to understand your thought process for wanting to set up a committee.
Yeah.
Because within the health sector itself, there would have been a reporting procedure for a situation like this. For instance, the nurse in question should report to a supervisor. A supervisor then would institute an investigation. But you decided...
Everything ends at the minister responsible for health. Whatever happens down there ends at the minister responsible for health. So if there's any issue that the minister comes in, it's been escalated to the ministerial level. Do you get it? Okay. At the time I was going, as part of my entourage, the Director General, the people at the Ghana Health Service were all part of. So when the minister gives direction, it's a ministerial direction.
Right. Now, when you look at the incident itself that took place, there are two things that have happened.
Good.
A nurse who has been physically attacked, but also the incident that there was delay in attending to.
Exactly. So these are the issues. So there has been an alleged assault. I'm using my words carefully here.
Absolutely.
Good. So there has been alleged assault, and then there has been allegation of delay in attending to patients. Okay? The nurses or the medical doctors, medical officers there may also have reasons. You understand? So I'm not willing to go, I am not at this point willing and ready to go through the processes of, emergency, how it goes through the triage, how somebody was. It's all part of the issues that will come up at the committee.
The committee's work.
The committee's work.
Okay.
It's all part. So how those issues were handled. So that, you see, when a committee is set up to look into a matter, in fact, the most important thing, the most important aspect is to guide us to prevent the reoccurrence of a similar incident. You understand? So I believe that when the reports, and I'll be very honest with you, and I can assure you that once the report is ready, I'll publish the report. What
you say to people who don't believe that this committee investigation would get anywhere?
They should wait and see. They should wait and see. Whatever recommendations that will come up, we will implement the recommendation, especially if it is within my jurisdiction. That is, whatever government can do, we will implement the recommendations.
As part of this entire situation that has taken place in the past week, we also see and hear from some unions who have castigated you, not only in how you handled the situation, but they have also raised questions about your credibility for the office that you hold.
Credibility?
How do you feel about when someone questions whether or not you're good enough for the position you hold?
I always tell people to judge me per what I'm doing at the moment. I don't believe in titles and track records and what have you. Judge me per what I am doing at the moment. After all, I have been the ranking member of the head committee for about 7 good years. for Christ's sake. I've been a member of parliament for, this is my 4th year. I've been a deputy minister before. If you don't describe this as competence, I don't know what competence is. And everybody in this country will attest to how I worked as a ranking member of the head committee. And everybody and his or her style. I don't want to be an armchair minister. And Keminni, some of these things will not probably stop me or demoralize me. I'll continue to give of my best. I would always want to be on the field, to see things for myself, have first-hand information. Where and when I need to delegate, I will do so. After all, I cannot go to every facility in this country. It's not possible. But at least, if the people working in any part of the country feels that the minister can be here at any given point in time, I think it's a good news. It's not something that you must discourage. It's something that we must encourage.
I mean, so for a union like the GRNMA to come out and say that about the minister they work closely with, it means that the unions have a lot to say about whether or not you're doing your job competently or not.
Well, let's leave that for them. I think that there are a lot of things to do in the health sector. And as I have said, union leaders are supposed to collaborate with the government to...
So here's where I'm going with that. For a union that you have worked closely with since you came into office, for them to come out and pass such a remark, how did you feel about it?
Well, I had a lot of feedback, but I feel that is not important, and I shouldn't actually ignore.
Should they apologize to you?
I don't really care whether it's up to him, whether they will apologize. That is not my aim. That's not my target. You see, the distinction, this is about communication and the perception. The work we do is all about perception, okay? And sometimes I reflect back. There are issues I should have spoken to. I let it slip. Maybe immediate advice, I let it slip. But they slip and die with a certain perception. They die all right, but they die with a certain... And that is why, in this case, I address the press to state the issues, to state the facts. And I think I'm right, because after the press conference, I had a lot of feedback. Okay? And so, somebody is positioning you as a leader, inciting people against you. Okay? Making it look as though even the incident that happened, you even caused it. That is how it's going to be put out there in the public domain. Not for people to recognize the effort you are putting in. And you keep quiet? You sit back? No. But he's not my target. The leaders are not my target. My target is the ordinary Ghanaian, the 33 million people, the over 100,000 nurses. As for the leaders and whoever said that, their motivation is up to them. And that is not the first time he's doing this. You work with TV3, and you know some of the comments they've made in the past and all that. That is not my worry. That is not my marching orders from my president. So that one, let's ignore it. And let's look at what the sector holds for us. So for me, I will continue to work with them, okay? Work with all union members and make sure that we have a health sector that is affordable, that is accessible, that is equitable, and that we can have sustainability and sovereignty.
So by next week, we'll know the outcome of the committee's work.
I'm very sure.
Despite your intervention in this matter, we know that the nurse in question has sued RAF, I believe, for some 7 million cedis for the damage done to her. What are your thoughts about that?
That's fair. Let's allow the law to take its own course. I don't need to comment on this matter. Once it's sued and it's in court, I'm a minister. Let's leave that for the courts.
Very well.
And I wish anybody, any Ghanaian, if you don't understand anything, the appropriate forum is to go to court.
How long will you keep the police at the regional hospital
we'll have an arrangement with the police going forward. And you see, so these are some of the things. When issues happen, they shape government policy direction. So now I'm beginning to reflect not only on Ridge Hospital, I'm looking at other health facilities as well. How can we beef up security on every district hospitals? So now we are going to look at how DCs and district health directors will link up with the police, whether superintendent or district commanders in their various jurisdictions. And we have that kind of collaboration to be able to assess them as and when. So these are some of the things you will have to. When issues come, you learn. It guides, it shapes government policy going forward. And so we will have that collaboration, whether to even allow the police to take charge entirely or to increase our own internal security or something. We have missed something.
So, I mean, in your at your first-hand visit to the situation, what did the nurses say was the reason the patient had not been attended to yet?
No, okay, to be honest with you, there was some kind of explanation offered because, of course, the minister has come, so they will try to explain those issues. But I don't think that is for the consumption of the public from me, especially so when I've constituted a committee to look into the matter. Of course, they tried to give me, maybe they didn't even know I was going to constitute a committee. So they tried to explain what really happened, especially the medical superintendent. They tried to run me through the incident. But once there's a committee, I don't want to go into that matter.
All right. Then I guess by next week we'll know what the
yes, I've given them a maximum of 1 week. So I'm very, very sure by the end of the 1 week, the report will come out.
Away from that, let's look at the infrastructure and equipment gaps that bring up some of situations such as this. What is the NDC's infrastructure plan as far as the health sector is concerned?
So at the moment, the status is that we have about 6 teaching hospitals. We have about 10 regional hospitals, and then we have about 9,000 CHIPS, health centers, and district hospitals. That is the status at the moment. So what we are looking at is that how can we increase their accessibility? We are looking at constructing not less than 2 CHIPS compounds in a year in a district, 2. And then there are other health facilities under construction that are ongoing. So His Excellency has directed a percentage in the disbursement of the common fund to also take care of those ongoing projects. And so we have a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Local Government to supervise, to equip, because after the construction, you must equip the facility, basic equipment. You must also staff it, personnel. So there's that collaboration. We are supervising. Immediately we finish, we have to equip it and then put in personnel to run. And then district hospitals, especially district without hospitals at all, we'll look at them. We will not start 111 hospitals at the same time. We will not do that. I will take them gradually. We are even looking at, I've told you we have 10 regional hospitals, right? Now, it means that we have a deficit of 6 regional hospitals because we have 16 regions. So we are looking at building those 16 regions at least for the next 4 years. So district without district hospitals at all, we'll look at how we can, especially if something of that nature has been started already as part of the Agenda 111, we'll prioritize those areas. And once we're talking about infrastructure, let me bring in the Agenda 111.
We'll talk about that in a bit, and we'll do that when we come back from this break, because I want us to have a lot of time to be able to do that before another break. You're watching Hot Issues, so we'll be right back with the Health Minister. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's still hot issues here on TV3. My guest is the Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando. Honorable, I appreciate your time with us, but on the infrastructure plan for the NDC or the current government, you indicate how you intend to include 6 more regional hospitals as part of the plan. You also plan to do things at the national level and then at the very primary level of healthcare. Any of these things starting in 2025?
For now, the CHIPS compound, yes.
Okay.
CHIPS compounds. And then let me also make this point that there are other ongoing, apart from Agenda 111, there are other ongoing health facilities we have inherited and they are still ongoing.
So let's talk about one of those health facilities you've inherited.
The central medical stores.
Right.
It's been abandoned. We have money to start in 2025.
I see.
The maternity block.
When you say the central medical stores, of which facility or the national one?
The national medical.
It's been abandoned. What does that mean?
So if you recall, the central medical store was burnt.
I do.
You recall. Since then, we have been keeping our drugs at a rented premises. And so the state, we do not have a befitting central medical stores.
I see.
And so His Excellency has directed that that must be part of our priorities to build one. And even after that, we are going to look at having region by region. So it's another thing we have captured.
Have we identified a place yet? What steps have been taken?
No, in fact, to be fair, the formal administration started something, which is about 10% complete, but it was abandoned because of the debt exchange program. It affected that project. And His Excellency, the President has directed that that must be lifted as part of our priority areas. So that has been captured. And then the Confanoche maternity block program is also being captured. So these are some of the ongoing projects. And His Excellency has directed that he's not going to abandon any project that he has inherited. So those that we have inherited, we had allocation in the 2025 budget to continue. And then the CHIPS compound too, we have now given money, it's been decentralized to also start. But in the case of the regional hospital, the concept note is being developed, and we'll look at it in the subsequent budget.
I see. So then, another thing you would have developed, inherited, is the La General Hospital.
Yes.
Is there allocation for the La General?
Yes, there's allocation. Now
Talk
we
to
have
us
made
about that.
So La General Hospital too. What we realized was that the contractor aside had done some work which needed to be paid, and he was not paid. And so work is not progressing as expected. So allocation of about 120 million has been made in the 2025 budget. And therefore, very soon, the Member of Parliament of the constituency is almost on my neck. And very soon, I'm going to engage the contractor and then assure them that the money has been made available, and therefore they should go back.
Are there new timelines now associated with the project, now that you have inherited it?
Since I have not had the opportunity to meet the contractor, I do not want to say so. So when I meet a contractor, looking at, what we have available for him and the pace at which he can move, then we can come out clearly to say that this is what we can do at this time. They will complete the project for us. But I can assure you for now, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, for now, I can assure you that we will expedite action on the construction of La General Hospital.
Allocation is also different from disbursement.
I agree.
So to the best of your knowledge, when are you actually getting the money to pay the contractor?
So now when allocations are made and the IPPCs are brought to your end as a Ministry of Health, the payments are done at the Ministry of Finance, okay? And so I do not want to talk for the minister responsible for finance, but I can tell you from our end, from our ministry, we will do our best to expedite action. But I can tell you too that His Excellency the President has his eyes on the health sector and will. You see, there's one thing about this minister responsible for finance. Once there's allocation, once he has money to do something, he doesn't sleep on that. He doesn't delay. He will deliver. Unless there's no allocation, that you have a big issue with him. But once there's allocation and things are done well, he will deliver.
Under the previous administration, we had heard that a Standard Chartered facility had been acquired for the La General Hospital.
Standard Chartered facility.
Loan had been acquired for that facility.
That was a long. You know, La General Hospital, we started talking about La General Hospital even before 2020 elections.
That's correct.
And so in the beginning, that was when that arrangement was made, and they couldn't do any drawdown. So that arrangement didn't materialize.
Right.
So as I speak to you now, we don't have a dedicated sources of funding for the La General Hospital. So now government must squeeze something to do an allocation or to make an allocation for the, and of course, this regime, we have done it and we'll continue to do it. But it's not like we have a loan dedicated for the project, for now, not that I know of.
On the subject of Agenda 111, what you had said about that project is that you'd review it and then continue those that are about 70% complete. How many of those have you been able to identify?
Okay, for now, I do not want to jump the gun because, you know, this project used to be under the presidency, and now it's been brought to the ministry. And we've been directed to audit the whole project. So now we are still auditing the whole project. And then when the reports are brought, we will look at those above 70% for the state to invest in it to complete those ones. And then those below 70% will package them for PPP. But let me also put it on record that none of the Agenda 111 projects are in operation. So they couldn't finish, complete, and operationalize even one. And so we will look at how we can finish those above 70% and then package those below the 70%.
But the audit has taken long.
Yeah, but you'll have to cast your mind back to the workload. We are talking about 111 hospitals. So in some cases, you go, you won't even see an excavation, but you have to go. So people are going to visit all these sites. Each contract comes with very huge documents. You have to review everything. So it must be carefully done.
When are you going to settle on that?
I believe it will not be long after now, but I don't want to give specific timelines for now.
Very well. Now, while we're talking about infrastructure, just the opposite side of that will also be equipment. You remember after the Tamale Teaching Hospital incident, one of the things that you had assured the health workers was government plans to retool and re-equip our facilities. What steps have been taken since then?
Well, so again, we have a plan in place for retooling. The last time we did retooling as a nation, as a country, was somewhere in 2014. That is when all of us, most of us started hearing terminologies like MRIs, the CT scans, and those ones. And so since then, there hasn't been any major retooling in our health facilities. Now, there's a challenge where government will invest this huge amount of money, and 6 years or 10 years down the lane, you don't get any revenue from those equipment you purchase. I'm not oblivious of the fact that government facilities do not charge as much as private facilities charge. But at least they charge something. And so something must be refinanced to either fix them when they are faulty or to replace them when they are obsolete. But in this case, we don't have any. Okay, so government is looking at how we can partner the private sector, PPP, so our doors are open now. So that private sector will set up these imaging or labs at the already existing facilities. And then they will have some kind of profit sharing arrangement with the hospitals. Okay?
So we are looking at, because right now there are arrangements between, for instance, if you go to Kolebu, there are facilities around Kolebu where you can go and do
that's outside Kolebu.
So what you are doing differently
inside,
is have it within.
Within. So the medical doctors and the health professionals will fed. You will have it there, one-stop shop. You understand? And so, and then government will also look at, there are some equipment that are not very lucrative to the private sector. Because they think that if you go into PPP, it will take you a very long time before you can recoup your money. So they are not interested. And government's, aim is not to get profit, to serve the people of this country. So those equipment, we are looking at buying them and trying to see how at least we can recoup some money. When it's obsolete or when it's faulty, we can continue to fix them. So there are, processes in place to purchase some cath labs and some DNA testing machines, and a few of them.
Have you bought
in 2025?
But so it means we haven't bought any at all, because a lot of these sound
no,
like
we have bought some of them. Some of them. Don't forget that we are still 8 months old.
I agree.
and so, for example, when the Tamale incident happened, we were able to organize some equipment, and then we sent to them. Recently, I paid a surprise visit to Ofankor, and then now we've been able to mobilize something for them and some few ones. So what is available in the 2025 budget, that we are going to work with. But I think that we can be looking out for more in the 2026 budget. You know, the economy was not that very good. So the strategy was to stabilize the economy before we take off. And by the grace of God, as we all can feel and see, the economy is not as bad as we came to meet. The exchange rate is better, the inflation is dropping, and it is not for me to say. And so the expectation is that things are going to be better in 2026.
What will you do to ensure that this PPP is not exploitative of clients who go to the hospital?
Fantastic question. That has always been my target. So the clause that we intend to put in the agreement, the MOU, is that those private sector players should allow us to roll them onto the Fees and Charges Act. In other words, their fees and charges will be subjected to the Fees and Charges Act. And this is what happens. For example, the Ministry of Health, if there's going to be any increment in the fees and charges, we'll put them together. We'll send to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance will then send it to Parliament for the Subsidiary Legislation Committee to sit on it and approve. We did pre-laying, they lay, and a number of days later, it matures, and everybody will charge that particular amount per fees or per charge. So once they are subjected to that one, I think that there will be decorum in the system.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And so this PPP, are your doors already open?
Yeah, they are open.
I see.
They are open.
I see. Have you had any people come in already?
Yes. Especially, it will interest you to know, especially dialysis machines. So we are going to have people coming forward to do PPP with us, to put dialysis machines in every region.
Right.
It's very interesting, and I can assure you, we are determined to improve upon the sector.
Since we have talked about accessibility, let's also talk about affordability, right? Because health financing or healthcare financing is one of the biggest issues, biggest issues in this country. The NHIA, since you assumed office, has gone through a lot of changes. We've read stories and reported stories of how payments have been done, because again, now money is available. But let's talk about sustainability. How are we ensuring that the NHIA, which provides an essential service to a lot of Ghanaians out there, continues to do so in a manner that does not jeopardize the healthcare delivery or its accessibility or affordability for the people?
So surveys have it that health financing contributes to the hindrance towards the universal health coverage. That's a financing aspect. There are people who don't have money. It's not affordable to them, irrespective of the cost. And so it hinders universal health coverage, which will make health delivery or healthcare delivery accessible, affordable, irrespective of wherever you find yourself. You understand? And so this is what we have done as a country. We have a journey. We have come from some background. The major health financing scheme in this country is a national health insurance scheme. Okay, the national health insurance, from mutual insurance to national health insurance, to capping the national health insurance, and now the national health insurance has been decapped. In the 2024 national health insurance formula, you realize that the expenditure was around 6 billion because it was capped. In the 2025, it's around 9 to 10 billion because it's been decapped. Not only has it been decapped, it is now also being paid promptly. Over the years, you've had issues of service providers withdrawing their services because of delay in payment of claims. These days, we are not experiencing that. In fact, in the National Health Insurance Act, it is stated clearly that the minister responsible for finance must lodge that money, levy they take from you and I, into the National Health Insurance Fund within 30 days. And no finance minister or no government has respected that provision. But under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's second coming, that provision is being respected. So we don't have delays in payment of claims. Once you don't have issues with your claims, the authority will pay you promptly.
How much?
Now, still on health financing.
Right.
Now, you realize that at the basic level, what government is doing is that we have to give every Ghanaian free primary health care.
That's correct.
Free. So whether you are a subscriber to a national health insurance scheme or not, once you go to the CHIPS compound or the health center, you must be treated free of charge. So that's another way of clearing or reducing or taking away the financial barrier to give health care to the citizens of this country. And so, because of the prompt payment, you have seen some kind of increase in the subscription. As of June, we had increased from 15 million, which 15 million stood around 50% of the population, 50% of the population, to about 15.6, 15.7 million people. So gradually, there's huge, confidence developing in the National Health Insurance Scheme. How
much have you paid out of the NHI's debt since you took office?
About 603 million Ghana cedis.
How much more are you left to clear?
No, we've cleared all the debt.
You've cleared all the debt.
We've cleared the ones we inherited.
So it's a clean slate?
It's a clean slate.
I see.
And that is what we mean by improving on the system. And we don't intend leaving debt. Prompt payment. You bring your claims, we pay. You bring your claims, we pay. Unless you have issues with your claims.
Are we paying realistic premiums for the National Health Insurance?
That's another argument. It has been the argument of the service providers that we don't pay realistic tariffs. But at the moment, we are reviewing the tariffs to bring it at par. But you see, what will not make this one also change much? The argument was about the fact that we had inflations and consistent depreciation of the CD, CD. And now that argument is not too strong. You understand? Now that argument is not too strong. So when you are reviewing, you must review to reflect the current situation, which is a strong CD and a lower inflation.
That's
so
correct.
That is not making the review may be very strong, but there will be review anyway.
When do you plan to do this review?
Oh, no, it has started.
It has started.
We are only looking at the concluding stage.
I see. And then there is Mahama Cares. How much has the trust fund accrued since its launch? So
looking at from all angles, give or take, putting everything together at the moment, we can marshal not less than 1.8 billion Ghana cedis.
And that is budgetary allocation?
So it comes from all angles, from the percentage from the National Health Insurance, from corporate Ghana, from everybody, Ghanaians contributing. And then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has directed his appointees to also donate to Mahama
So how much
Cares.
of your salary did you donate?
Well, in the initial stages, during the launch, I donated 3 months of my salary. When my president donated 6 months of his salary to the Mahama Cares.
You supported with 3 months of yours. I can understand. I can understand. And so, in terms of operationalizing Mahama Cares, what does that look like? So
now, the law has been sent to Cabinet to Parliament. It's been passed. The President has assented to it. The administrator has been appointed. It is one of the fastest laws since I came to Parliament I have seen. Fastest. Within 5 months, it's been passed and assented to. This is my 4th term in Parliament. I've not seen that elaborate law establishing a major scheme like that being fast-tracked like that. And so it's been a major achievement. Yeah, major.
So let's stick with the issue of operationalization, because once it comes into effect, I mean, it is in effect, but in terms of its practicality, how will people access it?
Okay, so it's going to be true. It is going to be through applications.
Okay.
So first and foremost, let me also draw the attention of the public to the fact that the Mahama Cares is going to be dedicated towards the funding of the treatment of non-communicable diseases that has not been captured under the National Health Insurance Scheme. So the diabetes, the hypertension, those ones. So people they go to the hospitals, they are diagnosed, and then the experts will then recommend, and then it will be forwarded to the Mahama Care Center. They will recommend a facility for you, and then the bill is being forwarded to the Mahama Cares for payment.
So it is the health workers who would recommend the patient?
Yes, the expert, because they will have to diagnose you.
Okay.
You may not be able to diagnose yourself that you have the condition.
Right. So then they diagnose me. Whether or not I can pay for the service, is that at their discretion, that patient A cannot pay for the service, so let's apply for Mahama Cares?
Oh, no. You tell them to apply because you know the existence of Mahama Cares.
Right.
If you think that you can pay, bingo.
I get that. I get that. Thank you for the clarity. Right. How is this? How does this differ from the free dialysis care?
So for now, the free dialysis care is under the National Health Insurance Scheme for now.
Right.
And so everybody benefits. There are no restrictions as we came to meet. So those restrictions have been cut off, and everything has been put on the National Health Insurance to finance. So whoever turns up to any facility in this country, you are covered by that. And so that is why I said that those non-communicable diseases that are not captured under the National Health Insurance
will be taken
Mahama
care
Cares
of
will be
by
looking at
Mahama
it.
Cares. I see. When we come back, I want us to look at some of the labor issues in your sector and employment generally as well. You're watching Hot Issues. Don't go away.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamse.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by
Flamingo Paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Welcome back. It's still Hot Issues here on TV3. My guest is Draboso MP and Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando. Again, thank you so much for talking to us.
And the farmer.
A lot of times what we get from trained nurses, trained health workers have not been posted. Some as far back as 2020, 2021, 2022. What is the state of employment now in that sector?
Good. So let's understand what exists in the health sector. Now, the previous administration took off office in 2017. And permit me to go in that direction a bit. They criticize us heavily for leaving backlog, not even more than 2 years backlog. We were criticized heavily. Now, when they took office in 2017, their first time of recruitment was done in 2020. Hear me well. In their first 4 years, they did only one recruitment in the health sector, nurses, in 2020, major. Okay. That was even in December 2020 before the election. And they began their service in 2021. Now, after 2021, they never did any recruitment again until 2024. Can you get a coincidence? 2020, 2024.
Election years.
And then when they started the 2024 one, they never recruited. They left it onto us. And so now, as I speak to you now, this government is supposed to pay not less than 13,000 nurses, which they began the processes in 2024. So properly speaking, they did only one recruitment in the entire 8 years. Do you understand the trajectory?
Right, right.
Only once. And so we have the 2021 batch is what we came to meet in 2025. And that is the batch we are recruiting, and we have recruited, and we are looking for money for them. And out of the 13,000, about 10,000 have been captured on the payroll. Out of the 10,000, about 7,000 have been paid, and about 3,000 are yet to be paid. Okay? So we have the 2021 people at home. We have the 2022 at home, 2023 at home, 2024 at home. So in all, allied, pharmacists, physician assistant, nurses, if you put all of them together, we have not less than 70,000 health professionals that have been trained and are at home unemployed.
70,000?
You heard me right. This is what we have inherited. If we had added that 13,000, we would have jumped to 80,000 and over. If that sack people who were employed after 7 December, okay, happened in the health sector, by now we would have been talking about 80-something thousand people we inherited.
Because 13,000 people
would have added. And so these 70,000 people, there must be a clear strategy to deal with them.
Do you have one of?
That is what I'm going to talk about. We don't lament. Okay. We fix problems. So I've talking about pharmacists and everybody in there. I've put them together. So the strategy is that as for the medical doctors, we recruit them every year. The last batch, we have done the recruitment. We are yet to post them. Now, this is what we're going to do. Government is looking at employing some of them almost every year to reduce the numbers. But the truth must be told that government cannot absorb all the 70,000 health workers within 1 year. So the truth is that even after 2026, there will still be some backlog.
Right.
You understand? So government is going to look at absorbing some of them, and then we are looking at how we can manage migration, export some of them to other countries.
Right.
And so for now, about 13 countries have responded. We are signing MOUs with them. They are looking at how they can get our nurses in their countries. Bahamas have written. Some very interesting countries have also written to us to get our health professionals. There's a problem that we need to fix, and we are fixing. What we have realized is that as part of the request that come, we realize that most of the countries, they need the specialist nurses. And we don't have many in this country. And so we need to think outside the box to fix that problem.
To have
specialists to increase the number.
Right.
Out of those who have completed 70,000, so out of the 70,000, you have about 48,000 nurses. So what we are doing is that we are bringing up a program, the post-basic specialist program, out of that, we are inviting some of the heads of the institutions, including the rector for the Ghana College of Nursing and Midwifery and all that. Everybody must come on board. How can we develop a curricula, a program to train these nurses within a short time for them to be specialists?
So help me understand your plan. How many are you hoping to retain here and how many are you hoping to send abroad?
So now, what we are intending to send abroad will depend on the requests that come. Okay? If you want to send about, let's say, 20,000 abroad and we have 10,000 requests, we can only send 10,000. Okay? And we'll also be very careful where we'll also not turn the coin, where we end up having less than what we need in the country. But of course, we are still producing more. And again, with this specialist thing, what we are doing is that those we are going to admit, we are looking at turning about 40 of the nursing training institutions into a degree, pursuing degree programs, nursing training institutions, so that we can increase what the demand of the global market is.
Yes.
So now back to my answer. We are developing a program. Instead of, let's say, 1 year or 2 years program, we're looking at how we can bring the number of years down to, let's say, a year or even 6 months. And we are at the table discussing that to solve that problem, to increase the specialists, that will be attractive to what the global market is demanding.
Right, but that's not something that could happen overnight.
No, it
because
could
you need
happen.
to go through the loops.
No, we are at the discussion stages, and it's something we want to implement. I mean, latest by the end of this year.
By the end of this year.
Yes. We are very far, and we are looking at how we can use Kolebu and Konfanoche to come on board to solve a problem. Once we solve the problem, we may cancel that program.
I see. Now, I'll come back to this issue because I want to know what specialties you are hoping to train the nurses in post-basic nursing education, right? But when you look at the 70,000 number, how many are you able to employ this year in Ghana?
Again, you are putting me on the spot, and I do not want to give figures.
Okay. Because
for now, the 2026 budget has not been prepared. We've not even started the consultations on them. But very soon, because this year, you know, every budget in the past, except the election years, are being read October, November. You remember? Yes, so before it comes out, those figures will be there. And this time around, what we have agreed with the Ministry of Finance is that they are not to tell us which batch or which category of health professionals to recruit. Over the years, they will say, we are recruiting 10,000 nurses. But there are other, categories of health professionals at home. We have the pharmacists, we have the allied. So what we have done is that, okay, if the budget can take 10,000, we'll then share it across, looking at the numbers. Of course, the nurses are always in the majority, and they will always have the higher percentage. But that would mean that we would have touched on pharmacists, we would have touched on allied, we would have touched on medical doctors, we would have touched on all the professions.
So as for 2025, no postings, no clearance.
Oh, 2025 is what I'm saying, that we have taken about 13,000 on our budget. And this is even what we are struggling to pay all of them.
But those people were employed in 2024.
Did they pay them? Did they put them on the payroll?
I understand the dynamics of what you're saying.
So it means
but
that
I'm saying
that number will not allow us to put more on the 2025 because we need space to pay them. And as I speak to you now, I've told you that about 3,000 to 6,000 of them have not been paid. So you cannot go and add more. What you have even recruited, you have not been able to pay all. You understand? And so that is what they did, a similar one to us in 2008. When President Kufuor was leaving, you realized that he announced the single spine salary structure. And we came to for that exactly a similar situation. You just announce, they leave, and you have to come and deal with the physical space.
Now let's talk about the Health Worker Abroad program. Right? You say there will be some specialist trainings. What are you looking at in those areas? So,
in terms of the psychiatry, the special care, they have categories. You know, they have categories of their profession, the specialties. So these are the ones that even those that attend to the non-communicable diseases, you know, the cardiovascular diseases and what have you. So they have their own specialties that we need to develop a curricula to be able to train more.
I see.
And then even feed that one with the Mahama Cares, because we are making the treatment of the non-communicable disease accessible. As I speak to you now, most of these things are done in the cities, Kumasi, Accra. But if you go to the other regions, you don't have those ones. So this is what we're going to do, equitable distribution of the resources.
But you've sent some people abroad already, some health workers abroad.
Yes.
How many?
This year?
Since you took office?
I can't give you offhand the numbers.
But some people have gone abroad.
So, some of them are on scholarships.
No, but no, in terms of the...
migration?
Yes, the migration.
No, for now, since we took office, we haven't sent
any abroad yet.
Those requests that come are very small, and some of them we are even still processing them.
I see. In this MOU with the countries, what is in it for government?
I wish that we would have concluded on this MOU before I even make it public. But we are looking at how government can benefit, and we are learning the lessons from the Barbados experience. Government use a lot of money to train these professionals. And so if they are going to work in other countries, how can they help us to also train more? Okay? And can we have a situation where the countries that are importing these health professionals will share the taxes of these health professionals with us? Can they do that? So these are all proposals we are looking at.
But we
are also...
right, you finish that.
So, but you see, in all these, I will tell you that our focus is getting these 70,000 people employment. That's a major step. That's our main focus for now, to get them employment. But then, when you sit around the table, other issues will come. Then they will also tell us what they can do. They will judge, or then we come to a conclusion.
How transparent is this process?
Which process?
The nurse abroad process.
Oh, no, when we are ready, we will announce. There will be interview. Okay, so screening process, there will be a committee, and then people will apply, and then there will be interview.
I see. I would ask about the previous one we did under the NPP administration, but, you know, we'll move away from that.
To answer those questions.
I do not think so.
Thank you.
So we'll move away from that.
You are being fair to me.
We'll move away from that and talk about the unions. When you took office, you were accosted with a lot of union demands.
Yes.
Subsequently, you were able to weave peace with the unions, and they called off their strike.
Yeah.
What has changed since the unions called off their strike? I think about 6 weeks ago or so. What has changed?
Oh, so we sat with them, and then we agreed on some of their demands, and we also promised them that we were going to put the rest. We're going to continue the negotiations, and then maybe what becomes acceptable to all of us we will put on the 2026 budget. And so things like the uniform was agreed on, the book allowance for the lecturers was agreed on, but we are looking at the rest, which, when it's acceptable by all of us, we put on the 2026 budget.
Okay, and the rest will include things like they not paying for health care when they are sick.
So that's why I'm saying that it will be based on what becomes acceptable to all of us.
But that should be baseline, that the nurses or the health workers, when they are sick, they shouldn't be paying for the service at the same facility where they work.
Do you have another question?
Why should I have another question? Why not this one?
Do you have another question?
I want to understand your engagement with the nurses and,
so,
you know what has gone on.
Sometimes when you're a public figure and you express opinion on matters, it is taken as the position of government. And sometimes, if you're not very careful, you have problems, even at the negotiation tables. So when you're a public officer, you must be very careful about how you express your opinion, unless, of course, it is government position.
Very
so
well.
we'll go to the next question.
Very well. Where are the COVID-19 funds which you spoke so much about when you were in opposition? Where has that investigation got you?
It's under the BNI, what do you call it? NIB now.
NIB.
It's NIB and IOCO. So they are still investigating those issues. And then I know you talk about Sputnik V.
Yes. When are the Ghanaian people going to hear?
I don't want to comment on something under investigation.
So it's being investigated.
Yes.
It's been long, 8 months. Hey. It's enough time for the Ghanaian people to hear.
I hear you.
What has happened?
I hear you. It's not being investigated under the ministry.
Right.
So I don't have that power to comment on it. And if it's an investigation, I don't think it's appropriate to comment on it. I thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you too for sitting with us. My guest on Hot Issues is Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando. We've been discussing an array of issues in the health sector. If you missed it, there's a playback on our YouTube channels. Now remember that we are only able to bring you about an hour of the conversation. The rest of it all will be on our YouTube channel. Head on there and watch everything as you can. I'm Keminni Amanor, and this is Hot Issues. Bye-bye.